Hello everybody, I'm Gabrielle Vinette, host of Cultivating Innovation with Tetra, adaptive tools for the farm and kitchen. This podcast showcases customized solutions for overcoming barriers for people with disabilities. Each episode puts the spotlight on a real-life issue and follows how Tetra responded. Tetra has been building creative solutions and overcoming barriers for over 35 years. This podcast is a collaboration between Ingenium, Canada's Museums of Science and Innovation, the Disability Foundation in Vancouver, and the Tetra Society of North America. For today's episode, I am joined by Haylee Milne, the client, and Ken George, the volunteer, for the One-Handed Cutting Board project. The project is a large wooden cutting board with two pieces of plastic in the corner, forming an L so the client can butter her toast. There are also three metal prongs sticking out of the board so Haylee can put anything round, like an apple, she wants to cut. Lastly, there is a final metal prong and beside it, a piece of wood held by small magnets. This is used to place anything that needs to be still while she cuts her food. So thank you, Haylee and Ken, for coming here. So I just want to start off with pretty much saying, how did the idea of the cutting board sort of come around for you?
Well, because number one, I have a latex allergy, and everything that's made by these medical companies uses latex. And you don't find that out until you go to buy it, and then it says in very small print contains latex, and I'm like, crap. Because then I'm like, well, I can't use that. And it just got really, really frustrating because it was like I had used one before, but that was before the allergy. And with the latex allergy, it can get worse over time. So I wasn't going to buy something that was gonna make the allergies worse. So I was like, you know what? They're all right-handed anyway. And I'm left-handed, so that doesn't help me either. And I was talking to Dave. He's the one. Yeah, he's the regional coordinator, I think.
Okay.
He also works at the IWK. And he was the one that said, it says you need a specialist referral, but I'll waive that because you don't see very many specialists, and that's just a barrier. So you just put your request in and we'll approve it. And so I filled out the form and stuff, and then I heard back and had an initial call and kind of explained the kind of things I wanted to be able to do with it. Like I wanted to be able to butter bread, and I wanted to be able to cut vegetables and fruit and stuff like that.
Okay. And how did you hear about Tetra and just of David, honestly?
Well, because David works with the IWK seating team, all my wheelchairs came through them. So I knew of them. I knew of him before Tetra.
So that's David Beattie, isn't he? He's the head of remedial seating over at IWK.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was fitting me for my electric wheelchair.
Okay.
And I had heard about Tetra and kind of looked up the different projects they've done. Because there's been a few things that I've been like, man, I wish they made those bigger, or man, I wish. Like, for example, I used to go skating when I was younger with those skating frames, but now they don't make them big enough. But then I found out with Tetra, they've actually made them bigger. And I was like, oh, they can actually make them bigger? I didn't know that was a thing. So just knowing how many different things they can do was kind of cool, because it was like, okay, if the things aren't out there for the big companies that make all the money, it's not the end of the world that I'm left-handed.
No. So when pretty much did you put in the requests and all that? What year was that?
It would have been last April.
how long did it take pretty much to get the board since your request?
I can't remember.
It was 2 or 3 months at least before she.
Okay.
It worked its way through the system and nobody picked it up, and eventually I picked it up, and then I couldn't get a hold of her. And,
Yeah, I know.
so it didn't take that long to make.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's pretty simple, but
I'm a pain in the butt.
oh no, you're not a pain in the butt. But she had some peculiarity. She wanted a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and she wanted something that didn't have latex in it. And like you say, you look at most of them and they'll have rubber feet or something. They'll have, say, latex.
Okay.
And I was really worried about using a glue. I would have glued that little bracket that holds the bread on, but I was
Okay.
worried about what was in the glue. I mean, I'm not a chemical engineer, I'm an electrical engineer.
Some of the glues actually have latex right in them.
Okay.
Yeah. And I talked to her on the phone because it was COVID, so it was hard to, it's much better to go see someone.
Mm-hmm.
So my first idea was to use some elastic bands to hold the food. So, she would just pull them over. You can get silicone bands that don't have latex in them. But she said, no, my hand's too weak to do that. So, and so I came up with this idea of just using the magnets to hold it. And I don't know how well that's worked for her, but the spikes will hold most stuff. You can just put them
Yeah,
on
the
that.
spikes do well with holding like a piece of fruit or a vegetable or whatever in place so that I don't have to try and hold it with one hand.
Okay.
And the board itself is straight from IKEA. So.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I bought two, and I cut one up to make the little clamp.
Okay.
And then I bought that was part of a cutting board from IKEA too, but it was only.
The plastic.
Yeah, so I just
hook
cut a
thing.
piece out of that.
Okay.
So
Okay.
probably it costs the whole thing about $25.
Yeah. Okay.
It was.
So, Haylee, how do you like it so far? Like, you've had it for a while. You've had time to use it for a few things, cutting up, buttering bread, and all that. How do you like it?
I like it. I like that I'm not worried about trying to hold things anymore.
Okay.
Except when, like now, because it's always on the counter, my parents tend to use it as a junk pile. And then like, how am I supposed to use this if I have to clear your crap off of it all the time? Like,
So, can you show me how you use it? Like, can you like show example of the way you would cut?
I'll get you.
Yeah, just so visually I can see it mostly.
so like if I was cutting a piece of fruit,
Mm-hmm.
I would take this thing off,
Okay.
put the fruit here, and then I would just kind of chop the pieces.
In between the metal prongs, I want to say.
Like,
Okay.
it's hard for me to explain it without doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do you
It
want
is-
an apple?
Yeah. Do you want to cut up an apple or something?
That'll be easier for me to show you. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm very visual, so trying to explain things when I'm not actually doing it, I'm like,
Yeah.
what am I doing?
Want me to stick that on?
Okay, so it goes in the 3 prongs, so it like holds together.
It holds it together, and then
It's not too sharp. But. I can get you a knife with teeth on it so you can saw it and work better.
And you like, I noticed like you don't see the prongs, I want to say, sticking out of the apple. Do you sometimes hit the metal prongs? Or do you pass through them?
usually,
This should work better, Teresa.
really, my name's not Tracy. Yeah, kind of like that.
Okay.
So now you. Like
Okay.
Well, that was if you say you were chopping celery or something.
You wouldn't put in the prongs.
You put this makes a vise, right? Just put that one here. So then you could put the celery in like that.
In between the wood and the
cut it, right?
And for the buttering the bread or breading toast, it would be you would fit in the corner. Is that it?
Yeah, fix in this corner.
Okay.
I'll get in place, and then I can put my jam or whatever on it.
Okay, that's cool. And have you like messed around with it?
Yeah, well, I use it to butter my toast and stuff most of the time.
Okay.
Because I find it much easier than trying to butter it on a plate.
Mm-hmm. So I think you mentioned, I'm going to turn to you for now. So I think you mentioned the project was not touched for a while when the request came in. So how long did Haylee's project take before it got picked up pretty much by you?
I think it was probably a month or two, wasn't it?
Okay. So a month or two of waiting.
When she applied to when I took the project.
Okay. And then you said, how long did it take for you to create the board, get the design ideas and all that?
Well, I thought about it for about 2 weeks.
Okay.
You look on Google, you see what's available.
Mm-hmm.
You try to figure out what can I use that's not latex involved. And once you get it all figured out in your head how you're going to do it, well, I had to order those stainless steel spikes because you can't just go buy them.
Mm-hmm.
I just bought a rod and cut it into pieces and sharpened the ends, but it took a week to get the supplies in. Then it took a day to build it.
Okay.
I mean, the time I worked on it was probably half an hour, but
yeah, exactly.
You fiddle with it for the day.
Okay.
Where do I put those pegs? Where do I put this? It's just, then you hope that everything is okay. And she seemed to be quite pleased with it, and I haven't heard from her since, so I assume she was using it, but
Yeah.
I think they are instituting now a post contact to review with the client how it's working.
So what were your inspirations to pretty much create the board? I know obviously Haylee helped. Did you help in any way? Like to give ideas, or was it just I need this, and
She helped. She said, the approximate size she wanted it because that's about as big as I could get, but she probably would have liked it bigger.
Okay.
And she told me, she wanted the thing for the bread.
Okay.
And she vetoed the idea of elastics because she just didn't feel so that she could pull them tight enough to hold anything. Yeah. So the rest is reviewing what's on the internet, and there are commercial ones available,
but not latex free and not left-handed from what I could find.
So Haylee, are you happy with the size and like everything else?
Yeah, I like the size. I think if it was any bigger, I don't know if I would be able to. I think it might be too big for me to actually maneuver it. So I like the size of it.
Okay.
It's a toss-up between her being able to lift it and it not moving.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we just leave it on the counter because actually I can't lift it.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you were to lift it, it would only be with your left hand? Is that it? Okay.
And I don't want to try because I think if I would try, I would drop it.
Yes, let's not try, but okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for agreeing to meet me, and this was amazing. Thank you so much, Haylee, for talking about the board and talking about yourself, and thank you, Ken, for accompanying this and getting on the project.
Oh, it was a fun project, and Haylee's a fun subject.
Thanks for listening. If you would like to request a device, you can go to the Tetra website at tetrasociety.org under the Solutions tab and click Request Assistance. To become a volunteer in your region, you can go under the Volunteer tab and fill out the volunteer registration form. For more information, or just to check out what we do, you can look for us on Facebook under Tetra Society of North America. Thanks again, and see you next time.